Hey, how's it going? This is Tim Jones. This is going to be a bit of an awkward episode of View from the Bleachers, and that's because, I really don't know where to begin. Okay, I'll admit it, I'm not perfect, okay? I don't like vegetables. I tend to look down on people from the South named Earl and Cletus. I sometimes just mouth the words during the national anthem instead of singing. Okay, last month when a volunteer knocked on my front door collecting for Greenpeace, I told him I had given at the office. I hadn't. What can I say? I'm not perfect, okay? What I'm trying to say is, I've been having an affair. My wife doesn't know about it, so please, let's keep this just between you and me, okay? It actually started years ago when one time my wife, she was out of town with our kids and she was visiting relatives. I stayed at home to work. I had the entire house to myself for 2 whole weeks. And well, a man has certain needs. You know what I mean? Well, while they were away, something happened. I'm not proud of it. I got swept up by a woman who just wowed me. I started spending time with her each evening in my otherwise empty house. I would close my blinds for privacy. I'd take the phone off the hook, and then I would just stare at this woman somewhat awkwardly, usually saying very few words. But before I knew it, a most unexpected long-distance relationship began. You see, I live near Seattle. She lives near New York City. I knew it was wrong the moment I started seeing her, but I just can't quit this woman. All my conservative friends have condemned me about my obsession with this woman, but I just could not stop wanting to see her night after night after night. Maybe you know her. Her name is Rachel Maddow. She has her own show on MSNBC called The Rachel Maddow Show. Isn't she dreamy? I knew from the outset that this torrid affair could never last. What with, the 3,000-mile distance between us, and the small problem that she is gay and already has a partner of her own. This is a photo of Rachel and Susan, her partner. What a bitch. I'll bet you she's not even really a blonde. Is it okay to hate her? I mean Susan, not Rachel. I could never hate Rachel. I knew it was wrong from the get-go, but if you knew Rachel Maddow the way I have come to know her over these past several years, you might have fallen too. You see, Rachel is a Rhodes Scholar, having attended Stanford University before going on to obtain her doctorate at Oxford University. She's a political analyst, and to my smitten mind, the sharpest, most eloquent, brilliant, and clear-thinking political journalist on television today. But what drew me to this woman, like a starving puppy to a steak bone, is that Rachel, like me, is just a scooch to the left of center in terms of politics. Oh, there's so many women on TV that I could have thought about falling for. Kylie Jenner, Modern Family's Sofia Vergara, or that actress who played Penny on The Big Bang Theory. So many fine-looking women who could have swept me off my feet. But no, my mind fell for an academic policy wonk with horn-rimmed glasses who wears the same black suit and tennis shoes night after night. You see, I'm a bit obsessed with politics. A sickness, perhaps. I have found myself hopelessly addicted to my 9 p.m. private time with Rachel every weeknight. I have no idea how I'm going to explain this secret passion to my wife. You see, my wife prefers watching National Geographic Channel shows about the Arctic terns' migration patterns, or a 6-part documentary about the periodic table of elements, or Nova episodes explaining in excruciating detail the physics behind flying buttresses in the design of cathedrals in 15th century France. If she ever finds out that I have been obsessively watching Rachel Maddow night after night, how will I ever be able to explain it to her? Please, let's just keep this sordid affair our little secret, okay? My wife doesn't need to know. Trust me, my wife never watches my View from the Bleachers YouTube videos, so I'm confident she's never going to see this video either. That is, so long as you don't blabber to her. You don't happen to know my wife, do you? Still, my obsession and my conscience have been eating away at me for a long, long time. Don't get me wrong, I love my wife. It's just that my wife can't fulfill my need for CNN, Wall Street Journal polling data comparing voter sentiment on immigration reform segmented by socioeconomic group and educational level, or arcane dissertations comparing the underlying market dynamics of the current stock market to the Dutch tulip market crash of 1637, the way Rachel can explain it. And when Rachel did that scathing assessment of Donald Trump and how he almost single-handedly destroyed the Republican Party, well, Rachel, you had me at covfefe. You had me at covfefe. If you're not familiar with Rachel Maddow and you are a liberal, just one viewing of her show and you'll see why I have fallen head over cerebellum for this incredibly smart woman. If you are a conservative, you might not see what I see in her, but I invite you to check her out, unless you're a member of the MAGA hat brain trust, in which case you won't understand the things she's saying because she uses a lot of multisyllabic words and phrases like International Monetary Fund and currency devaluation. I think my wife is starting to suspect something. I'm in a panic. You see, my wife is also very smart and the jealous type. I fear she'll start noticing something suspicious that I may have failed to cover up, like the fact that every TV in the house is set to MSNBC, or if she checks my email and she sees my fan mail emails to rachel@rachelmaddow.com, or maybe she'll notice that I've become a Twitter follower of Rachel Maddow or a fan of hers on Facebook. I just know I'm going to trip up somehow, unless I break off this affair once and for all. I've thought about an open marriage, but then there's just no way my wife would ever be willing to share me with this other woman, even if it was just for 1 hour a day. I'm going to have to walk away from my obsession with Rachel Maddow right now. I probably should start watching episodes of Cops, or, well, better yet, something with absolutely no redeeming intellectual value, like, say, Tucker Carlson on Fox News, in order to get this brilliant woman out of my mind. It was exciting while it lasted, but I can't let this ruin my marriage. I'm simply going to have to stop watching Rachel on TV once and for all. It will be painful to do, but my marriage depends on it. Besides, I can always listen to her soothing voice on one of her podcast series on my phone with my earbuds as I drift off to sleep at night. And nobody needs to know. That's The View from the Bleachers. I'm Tim Jones. Remember, if you like this video or simply feel sorry for me, please click on the subscribe button below and share this video with your friends or anyone you'd like to annoy. And for more of my humor, visit my website, viewfromthebleachers.net. And please, don't tell anybody.